Hello, my name is Allison King. My partners are Jonah and Katie, and we ran a study on the disconnection between social media usage and cyberbullying. Looking at some previous studies, we found that the more people use social media platforms, the more likely they were to experience cyberbullying. Due to our current global pandemic, we felt this topic was extremely relevant to today's society and thought it would be beneficial to do some more research on it. It was found that some platforms are more notorious for cyberbullying than others, with Instagram and Twitter being the leaders in this category.
So all of this previous research here made us curious, and we wondered if the amount of time spent on social media affected students' experiences with cyberbullying. This then in turn led us to hypothesize that there is a significant relationship between time spent on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter and experiences with cyberbullying, specifically in college-age students.
Participants in our study needed to be 18 to 22 years old. They needed to have active accounts on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, and they also needed to be students here at Westfield State. We obtained 51 to 55 participants for each platform, and the variance comes from duplicates and survey responses, or survey responses that weren't exactly applicable. Experimental design included our group constructing and administering a survey to participants that measured the amount of time spent on each social media platform along with corresponding cyberbullying encounters. Our group classified a cyberbullying encounter as either being a victim, perpetrator, or bystander of cyberbullying. We used a one-way ANOVA to analyze the data, which allowed us to see the average time spent on Instagram, Twitter, or Snapchat, and the cyberbullying encounters that came along with it.
Our graph for the data collected relative to Instagram usage is shown here in this top graph. Each bar you see represents a range of times the participants spent on Instagram per day, either 0 to 2, 2 to 4, or 4 to 6 hours. We used a one-way ANOVA test, which is an analysis of variance, used to determine whether there are any statistically significant differences between the means of 3 or more independent groups. The results that came from our Instagram one-way ANOVA were insignificant. This means there was no statistical significance between the hours of Instagram usage and cyberbullying experiences.
So just as we did for our Instagram data, we ran a one-way ANOVA on our Snapchat and cyberbullying data. This test showed, just as the other one, that there was no statistically significant relationship between our variables.
Our group found no statistical significance between the time spent on social media and individuals' experiences with bullying, although other groups like Abidayo has found a significant relationship, even though their study did have a much larger participant pool. Results of this study can help both victims and perpetrators and even bystanders by raising awareness to how damaging cyberbullying can be. Even though there is no face-to-face contact, mental health is still a huge part of it and can be severely affected.
In the future, if someone decided to recreate this study, we suggest gathering a larger pool of undergraduate participants. It may be beneficial that these students come from other schools and not just Westfield State students, as this could assist in gathering more variation in survey responses.
We also suggest rewording certain survey questions, specifically those pertaining to the amount of time spent on each platform. We had asked participants to give an estimated daily usage range in hours, but we would recommend that any future researchers ask for an exact amount of time spent on each platform. We believe that this would make it easier to run the data, and once ran, that it would be able to provide more statistically significant results. Additionally, we suggest providing a definition of cyberbullying, maybe one that includes trolling. We think a definition like that would be helpful because not everyone shares the same idea of what constitutes cyberbullying. If we had a shared definition, it would ensure that the results of the survey accurately reflect the experiences of the students and then actually answer the question being asked by the researchers.
We would like to thank the participants who responded to our survey, as well as the professors who extended the opportunity to their students to partake in this study. We would also like to thank our classmates for their extensive peer review and constructive criticism to make our work hit its highest potential. Lastly, we would like to thank our professor, Dr. Princey Manella, for the time and effort as well as the guidance she provided.